Members of the jury, the facts of this case are clear-cut. The damages this defendant has caused by his actions of arson were premeditated, malicious, and heinous. We have presented evidence that the defendant is guilty of arson, and the crime he has committed has terrorized this community. It has instilled fear of the safety of our business owners and local schools, and some of our residents have moved for fear of having their homes destroyed. We are sure that the truth that is presented in our closing arguments will show that arson is a crime that we must not take lightly, and we know that you will find this defendant guilty of arson. According to the research started in the history of arson, arson is an ancient property crime because it relates to one of the basic human needs of shelter or habitation. Arson was a crime in common law because it threatened the needs of the community members to feel secure in their homes and other buildings in their communities. Common law arsons had to burn dwellings in the possession of or occupied by others, as the belief was that people would not intentionally burn the houses in which they themselves lived. So why is arson a crime? Arson is a crime because it is the willful act of taking away a person's home or business for either revenge or insurance. According to the California Penal Law, Section CPC-451, arson makes it illegal to burn property willfully and maliciously or to the aiding someone else in burning their property. Even the slightest singeing is sufficient for arson. However, burning your own property or getting someone else to burn your property isn't an act of arson unless you intend on defrauding someone, or you hurt someone, or you damage someone else's property. In another related defense, in a statement study from the cityofandrews.org, explains that any small business that suffers extensive fire damage at the hands of an arsonist may have to close its doors for a short time, or may even close permanently. Such a closing will result in the loss of income for employees, loss or suspension of employee benefits, and even layoffs. There are several reasons why people are not outraged at the work of an arsonist. Some think of the fire as one of those things that's just going to happen, not something that anyone can control. In fact, in the United States, it leads the world in fires, arsons, and fire-related injuries and deaths. The appropriate punishment for arson in California, if you're convicted of an act of arson, the penalty may be a term of up to 9 years in a state prison, a fine of up to $10,000, or a fine and imprisonment. This fine is also punishable under California's three-strike system. It states if you accrue 3 strikes on your record, you'll serve a minimum of 25 years in a state prison. The aggravated charges in an arson case. In Texas, under most circumstances, arson is prosecuted as a felony of the second degree, carrying a prison term of 2 to 20 years, as well as a possible fine of no more than $10,000. However, you could face first-degree felony charges if anybody was injured or killed during the offense, or if you were accused of setting fire to a place of worship or an assembly. First-degree felonies carry up to 99 years in prison. Avoiding these aggravated charges could be a top priority. A skilled attorney can look for ways to mitigate the charge or seek a dismissal of the case. In conclusion, the crime of arson has plagued our communities, deprived the residents of their homes, and the safety of having to feel safe from the loss that an intentional fire could produce. The laws must evolve to address the growing crime and damages that arson has done.